family, Vie Darling, interpreter, just listening to a 𝗪்Rχ, cleansing, purifying the energy. How are y'all doing? How's the collective doing? Tired. I wasn't even gonna do this today. Let me get my lighter. I wasn't even gonna do this today, but I decided to go ahead and do it because it helps me a lot, and I felt like I was being called to just lighting some incense. This is, I think this is a rosemary brush. I'm gonna just purify some energy. For all of us. Really cleansing out the energy channels on the matrilineal side, which actually has a lot to do with what we're talking about today. Because I do feel like there is a lot of matrilineal purging that we've been doing. And my read on it, I do have some notes, but Spirit was also just like, get your butt up and go channel. Stop wasting time. But so yeah, some matrilineal healing that's been going on and purging that's been going on is going to also allow for that to happen at the patrilineal side, that to happen on the masculine side or expressional side. Because if you think about it, when we do the subconscious healing and clearing, that changes our thinking. Overall, it changes our thinking. And if it changes our thinking, it changes how we feel about things. And if it changes how we feel about things, it changes how we act, how we react, how we respond to things. So it really changes everything when we heal our subconscious. That's what's been happening. Clearing out some energy in the jaw. Tension has been here because of the unsaid things. Unsaid because some of it was repressed. Definitely not judging anybody for not saying things that they didn't know, that they were afraid to say for whatever reason. So around the rib cage, we're getting some clearing going. We're getting some clearing in the solar plexus chakra. And I'm just going to get some cinnamon on my palms, cinnamon oil on my palms, cleanse out that energy. You really want to be careful with cinnamon oil. You do not want to use too much. It can overwhelm the senses, and just, I've had really quite painful experiences with too much cinnamon oil. I have tension in my right side, and I think that also has to do with like being afraid of acting because of being afraid of what the results are going to be. And something that's been coming through really clearly this week is to stop with that. Like, that's really just trying to be in control way more than we're capable of being. So it's not helpful because it's just leading to a lot of inaction, and inaction is still a form of action. Doing nothing is still doing. You know, I posted about 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗍's take on abusive mothers, right? And 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲 also named, well, God also named, you know, 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗍 is just an extension of God. It's a type of energy. It's a type of divine energy that God like manifests as. That's what all deities are. They're all just archetypes and expressions of God. So the femme warrior energy, it's very fierce, and it's healing, and it's powerful, and it's cleansing and clarifying. And we have a lot of these energies, you know, but there's so many different names for it, but it's all just one archetype, one energy. And when they bring that to the Christian Bible, for example, you know, they use people stories and apply these archetypes and these legends just the same way that they did with heroes and legends of the Hellenic, you know, the Greeks, the Romans, all of that. The Sumerians, all of that, they do that. So that's just something to really think about, I would say. I want to say, like, I've been this past week just like more tired than I've ever been. I've just been so exhausted because we've been doing such deep healing work. And what I was saying is 𝗧𝗵𝗿𝗲𝗍 said about the enablers, the people who are complicit in the abuse, you know, they are the ones who create a safe container for that behavior to happen. So if you are worrying too much and you're not doing enough, let's put it as that example. Excuse me. Worrying too much about what, say that you are a person who has a girlfriend who you have seen be abusive towards their child. And you're just like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm scared to say anything because, like, I don't want to get involved. That's inappropriate. Like, da-da-da-da. That's rude. That goes against cultural norms and decorum. Da-da-da-da-da. You know that a child is being abused and you're not stepping in and trying to help and do something about it. You're not trying in any way to help alleviate that situation. Okay, you're complicit in the abuse. You are helping to perpetuate a safe container for that abuse to continue, which is an unsafe container for the child. Children are the embodiment of the essence of life. It is the most demonic thing to hurt children. It is one of the most unsacred things that you can do. So if you can't be like, yo, like, I saw the way that you were dealing with your child. I can't be a party to that. Like, I can't date you. I don't respect you anymore, and I'm not interested in being with you. That's not fucking okay in my book. If you can't say that, then your inaction is allowing this to continue on longer than it needs to, and you will also pay the consequences. So I hope that that is clear, what I'm trying to express about inaction is still an action. Oh, you know, I'm afraid to become a singer because I'm afraid of what people are going to say about my singing and if they're going to like it or not. Okay, well, let me break it down for you this way. You're not doing anything. You're not choosing. What you choose in the absence of the choice that you know you're meant to be making, that is what you're choosing. What you're choosing to do instead of what you're meant to be doing, that's still an action, that's still a choice. You are choosing fear over love, over fate, over your destiny, over living in your power, over living in the divine's plan for you, because that's where you're supposed to be. Everything that happens in service of that is to serve the greater collective and the story. The journey is what matters. The journey is what matters, okay? Okay, so I'm interpreting this download. So, masculine, feminine polarities, we're always meant to be in the middle. So we're always meant to be seeking balance because we live in a world of extremes. Your purpose, the codes in which you were embedded with when you came to this life, it's in your DNA, it's in your essence. The reason why you even incarnated into the family that you incarnated into, like the reason why you like the things that you like, the reason why you do the things that you do, is because it is serving the rectification of balance, universal harmony. Okay? Everything has been in service of this. So what you're really meant to be doing is seeking that balance and serving that balance, which is to say, instead of serving your ego, and this is the problem, is because people don't understand the difference between their ego and their true self, their true spirit. So it's like your heart, your soul, are you operating from a full heart or a broken heart? Because a broken heart is being filled. Let me make sure that this isn't burning anything. A broken heart that is not being healed, you can either fill a broken heart with healing or you can fill it with ego. Healing, love, or fear. Healing requires faith that it's going to work. At least a mustard seed of faith that it's going to work. Love, faith, healing. Or chaos, calamity because of fear. You can, and that's not going to fill it, that's just going to drain it even further. So are you operating from a broken heart or are you operating from a full heart? And your heart will always be full as long as you are letting the divine in. Okay? Operate from that full heart. Operate from faith in your higher power, faith that something good is working because it's working through you, because you know that what you are doing is serving the greater collective. If you feel like you were born to be a singer, but everybody's telling you, no, you should do something more practical, and you know that you feel unhappy, uncomfortable, unfulfilled, you're living a half life, then you need to stop listening to other people who aren't even happy, who are not you, who do not have the same codes as you, who do not have the same essence, who are not going to be able to help you, and start doing what you need to do. Stop listening to people who have not lived your path, who have not done what you know that you need to do, and start listening to the people who have done it. Because guess what? They're the ones who have the keys. They have the codes. And they are the ones who are going to awaken that energy within you and activate you. And initiate you into their path. Into their way, into their journey. Along higher realms and echelons of being. You will awaken more and more and more by receiving the information encoded in what these people have to say, how these people act, how they move, what they do, how they live, just in their energy, their essence, their being. But you can't get that from people who don't have that, who've never done that. Like, if they haven't activated their codes of fulfillment, then they cannot help you. All that they can do is show you what not to do, and push you closer to the people who have it for you. But a lot of the time, and that's what we're running from. A lot of the time, we're running from what we really want because we're scared. We're scared of getting what we want. We're scared of what could happen. We're scared of getting it because we're scared of losing it. So it's really important that we work on non-attachment. We talked about this last week, I think. Don't become too attached to the outcomes, because everything is always changing. Everything is always in flux. Where you were in a closed loop circuit before, we are no longer in that closed loop circuit. Things have changed in the cosmos. Things have changed, and now the circuit has been opened. So we no longer have to think that things are going to continue being the way that they are. I'm sorry, y'all. My nail is like doing something weird. Okay. Yeah, move like, because, okay, so, what I also want to say, especially for my twin flame collective, one, I'm seeing a sword. So you are a weapon of mass destruction, is what I'm hearing. You are a weapon of mass destruction. And it is, what are you destroying? What do you think you're destroying? If you know that you serve the divine, what do you think that you're destroying? They don't want you to be in your power, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So the more that you actually live your truth, the more, that is a revolutionary act, let me tell you. Okay? That is a revolutionary act. So there's something here about mirroring for the outside world looking in, because that's what a mirror is, right? What's happening within us, inside of us, is the ethers. What is happening outside of us is the mirror reflection. Okay? Our matrilineal healing is going to heal the external masculine. If we live in a patriarch, cis heteropatriarchy, right? us doing the healing of our feminine energy to get it right-sized and to get it into balance, to get it to a healthy place to receive the masculine, is I do talk to a primarily divine feminine collective. Us doing that work is going to heal the masculine. And if we have done that work and we have healed the feminine within us, that means that every masculine who's ever come into contact with us in a twin flame capacity is healed or healing. Brothers of the Rose, sacred masculine, honor, protection, support. So yes, the external world is healing to meet us. And now it's time for us to come into union. Finally, love that for us. Codes of the seed, blueprint is within you. Take the next step. What did I say? Fixing the codes within us is, fixing the codes within us is going to fix the codes externally. It is in service of the universe, the collective. So what I have in my notes, and then we have the mystic rose on the bottom of the deck: compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, grace for others as well as ourselves. We are nature, becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. Yeah, I feel like union is happening. Moving forward, I have been saying a lot, like, it's not happening this week, it's not happening in the material this week. Moving forward, it's happening. Like in the material, it's everything is coming into union in the material starting this week. Come to me, attracting like a rose. Receive abundance, desires. So we'll show you all the cards. Not for nothing, I'm wearing pink and green and black. And that is the high heart chakra and the heart chakra. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And I think this is the 𝗪𝗁 that I was talking about last week. But I want to read from my notes, and then I'm going to read from the book What Brothers of the Rose is. So because we have Pluto at 6 degrees and 1 second of Capricorn, opposing Mars at 10 degrees and 2 seconds of Cancer, and Capricorn is Pluto's in the 12th house, Mars is in the 6th house, and they are both making a square to the North Node at 8 degrees and 14 seconds, and Jupiter at 8 degrees and 20 seconds, so a conjunction at Aries in the 3rd house. We have, with this Pluto and Mars energy, healing of matrilineal karma has come to completion. And because of the hard decisions we have made to rectify a lineage of actions caused by sometimes just one mistake. Okay, if you think about it, Sophia creating the 𝗵𝗻𝗎 created everything. Sophia is all of our mother, and her mother is 𝗵𝗱𝗲. And this is Gnostic mysticism here, or the legends of Gnosticism. And she did not do that maliciously. She did not do that because she wanted to cause harm. She did it because she loved the creation of the Father God, Creator, so much that she also wanted to create on her own. But she did that outside of her divine partnership, her divine union. And so it always had what I refer to as an aberration. That is the 𝗵𝗻𝗎. It always had an aberration. There was always something missing. Okay? And it really could never come to its full potential because it's only creating with her, with her DNA. So what happens is 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, basically a serpent with a lion's face, is born. And the legend goes that she abandons him because she's so ashamed of what she's done. She puts him on the throne, she abandons him, and tries to hide everything that she did from the rest of the aeons, and from her parents, 𝗪𝗪𝗪 and God. And essentially what happens is everything that you're seeing now, everything in the world, that's essentially what happened. And because of this abandonment wound, because of this like aberration, you know, as much as we try to seek fulfillment, it's fulfillment within a sick matrix, a false matrix. And this is why I call it the false matrix, because the true matrix is not the colonial indoctrination ideological structures that cause us to give all of our power away to what I refer to as the demonic shadow empire, the empire of exploits, the evil empire, whatever you want to call it. It causes us to give all of our power away to Moloch. It causes us to essentially be victims preyed upon by energy vampires, and essentially be zombies. We don't have any sovereignty. We don't have any agency, because we're being mind controlled by these programs. And this is even before MK Ultra. This is before, before modern technology. What did they say in ancient Rome? Bread and circuses. How do we control the people so they don't rise up against us? By giving them food, and doing public works, so that it's just good enough that it's not so bad that they will rise up, and distracting them with entertainment. That's the circuses. That's why they built those giant coliseums. This is facts, okay? These are things that they teach you in middle school. Excuse me. And it's the same thing, because we're living in the same empire. It's the same thing that they've always been doing. Sorry, something's coming in. This is the same thing that they've always been doing. The coliseums, yes, bread and circuses. So, I think a lot of people will be like, well, then why do I want to be famous if it's so bad and it's so evil? Because, you have a purpose for wanting to do the things that you want to do. There's a reason why your higher power is guiding you to be there. Okay? There's a reason why it's like, oh, well, even though I try to like live a normal, I'm talking of myself as an example. I've tried to live a normal, everyday, basic life. And I can't. Because that's not what is encoded in me. Okay? That's not what is encoded in me. And it will never work. I will always attract the situations that are going to put me in line with my destiny. And this whole process, if you haven't experienced it yet, what you're about to embark upon is a process of having all of those subconscious fears, those subconscious barriers to living in your truth removed, so that you can be restored to your glory, so that you can do what it is that you have to do to help heal this earth, this world, this universe. And a lot of that has to do with receiving your divine counterpart. And as I said, the ethers are inside of each and every one of us. And the other half is mirrored back to us. And I mean, that's not, I don't think that's how it's meant to be. I don't think in the pleroma, in the light realms, outside of the demiurge, outside of in manifested incarnation, I don't think that that's how it is. Because we are in alignment with our other... Oh my god. That was so scary. Why did that just start? Oh my god. Whoa. Either way, as I said, I was like listening to ruqyas, which are exorcism prayers in Islam, before this. And yeah, essentially our divine counterpart is supposed to mirror back the parts of us that we need to just heal in order to come into union and be in our fullness. And that's what we have been experiencing. And so this work has been difficult, but as long as we continue on this path, it's going to keep manifesting in our lives. It's going to keep coming to us, because they do say it's not just a romantic lover, it's our friends, it's our family, you know, it's our lifestyle. It's our entire lifestyle. People, places, things, whatever, relationships, everything is what I'm talking about when I talk about coming into union with our divine counterpart. So if you are starting to find the relationships that bring you fulfillment, but it's not a romantic relationship, just know that the work, that if you continue doing the work within yourself to heal, to resolve karma, to resolve trauma, and to heal your ego mind, and to heal your mental body, which heals every other aspect of you, that's going to come. But be grateful for all of the things that have manifested thus far, okay? So we are being restored to power by letting God take control. So I was just playing with my Jasper. Now I'm like more so playing with this. This is jade? I don't even remember, but I have to look at my notes. I think it's jade. So there's big grounding, big earthing energy here. We are nature. Becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. It's really not about what's happening on the surface, y'all. If you are meant to be in a system, because some of us, like, some people are like, oh, I should go work in the government. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And we don't need to be out here, like, as long as we know that the people that we're working with are in alignment, we can feel that energetically. You can feel if, oh, they work in the government, but actually they are or really, like, their energy is so clean and pure, like they're there doing the work. Okay, a lot of us are born behind enemy lines. A lot of us are meant to go behind enemy lines, and that's why those of us who are generally tend to have it the hardest, because we need to be strengthened so that we don't go in and yield, essentially yield to them and become like them. Okay, I talk about this when I talk about Persephone. Persephone was abducted from Earth. She was from Mount Olympus. She was from the higher dimensions, and she was on Earth doing what she does with her mother, Demeter, Ceres. And then she's absconded. And this can be a parallel for trauma. Okay, you're just living your life, the end of innocence. Okay, just living our lives, and you know, it's a coming of age, it's a like maturation has to happen. She is abducted to the underworld, and she could either become like the beings in the underworld and lose her self-sovereignty, or she can integrate the experience and become even more powerful from all of it. And then she's the one who's bringing light to the darkness. She's the one who's making the decisions. She's the one who has a say in what goes on down there. And now she has two realms that she is the goddess of, or the queen of. Not the queen. She's not the queen of heaven, but she is still. She's still a princess. She's still a goddess, and she still can go between all three realms. And I'm noticing for the first time on this rose oracle that from the rose it seems to be dripping like pearls that look like water, and they create a double helix that has like a very body, like an anthropomorphic shape. So this is really about the divine feminine healing. This is healing the heart that is going on here and allowing we're no longer just going to be one half of a heart, because we're coming into union and we have experienced that fulfillment, and we are fighting ferociously for that fulfillment within ourselves. Okay, so that's being rewarded. It's not like, you know, God is like, hey, you got to do this and then I'll give you this. It's actually that, you know, that's just the laws of the universe. If you have an input-output machine and you put in 1 and then you put in 1, you get out 2, unless you're doing alchemy, in which you get out 3. That's just how it is, you know. But if you have 1 and you input another 1, but it's not an addition, it's a subtraction, then you have 0. And that's just what it is. But 0 is the infinite. So you have everything, actually, if we're talking about alchemy. And that's just what it is. Hi. So understand that, like, we are coming into connection because we've been doing the work. And it's not like we're being punished for not doing the work. We just stay still where we're at when we don't do the work. And if where we're at is a place that we don't like, then yeah, that's going to feel like you're being punished. And also, because the universe is expanding, that's the nature of the universe, standing still becomes uncomfortable because it's not natural. So evolution and forward progress, that is our nature, and we must yield to that. Yeah, chaos, flux, an aberration. I feel like that's what I got from this divining these symbols that I channeled. But yeah, so new beginnings from making brave decisions from a place of assuredness and confidence. In this week, I feel like there's still a lot of witnessing the consequences of our actions, but not as like there's nothing that we can do anymore, but as a way to collect the reward of lessons learned. It's like, okay, I'm seeing that these cycles are closing, essentially, is what I'm getting. These cycles are closing, and it's not going to continue to be the way that it was. We are out of that loop now. More opportunities to show up for ourselves in this capacity by standing steadfast in our integrity. You know, people are going to try it. People are always going to try it. There's never going to be a time when people are not trying it. But if we have to stand in our integrity. You know, people are going to try and take advantage of you. Are you going to stand up and say something? Are you going to advocate for yourself? Are you going to remove yourself from those relationships? Or are you going to just let it happen? We're not just letting it happen anymore. So that's what this is about. I'll show you. This symbol, that's what that is about. Those loops, those fractals have been interrupted. And we know that, like, a principle of physics is that something that is in motion will stay in motion until a stopping force that is stronger than the momentum, the motion, comes in and stops it. Okay, so we're crossing the threshold into this new life, this new realm, this new experience, and we're stepping into our power because of the decisions that have been made by our higher selves and our acceptance of those decisions and our getting in line with those decisions. So I want to read Brothers of the Rose, and then I want to get into the story so that hopefully before I have to jump off, we have enough time to get practical advice and I don't have to record it again. Sacred Masculine, honor, protection, support. And I do want to note that once again, we have Mars at 10 degrees and 2 seconds of Cancer in the 6th house of healing. It has to do with the body. It has to do with the functionality. It has to do with wellness. It has to do with purification. So we're not able to move forward as much as we would like to. I want to look at the ephemeris table and see when Mars is leaving Cancer. So all of June it will be there. It'll be there until July. July 1st, it will enter into Leo. Having a lot of like throat chakra stuff happening right now. And what that feels like is like, it's quite phlegmatic. So that means that, you know, the cinnamon oil works in that regard, but there's a purification happening of our throat chakra. And I really would like, you know, stay lubricated, stay wet is what I'm picking up. Don't, like, I had to write a letter to somebody. I had to write a couple letters to people who had, you know, their actions had triggered me or caused me harm or whatever. And, you know, transformative justice, instead of throwing those people away, I decided to, you know, address the situation and confront the conflict head on, but in a heart-centered way, in a compassionate way. So this is the sophistication. This is the sophistication of the masculine. And this is what happens when we bring the masculine and the feminine together in union, in harmony and balance. Instead of being like, instead of going like super robotic and super cerebral and like, you know, pathologizing our feelings, having a theoretical understanding of our feelings, but not actually just feeling them so that they can actually go and like move through us, you know, that is hindering us. The more that we yield and allow ourselves to feel our feelings and just let it flow through us, the more abundance is going to come through, and we're going to become even more powerful, and it's going to be amplified in the material realm. So not speaking up, if you're broke, not speaking up is keeping you broke. If you are stuck on a level within your progress and your evolution and your transformation, not speaking up is keeping you stuck. It's a blockage, literally. So you got to get clear on that. Once again, I think that there's a lot of dancing is going to help. Dancing, I think, like doing things, dancing because it brings joy. Dancing is not something that we do because we're like, I mean, I guess some people dance because they're sad, but ecstatic dancing is what I'm talking about. And it's going to raise your energy, and it's going to help move, you know, the cosmic dancer, Shakti, Shiva, Kali, they are doing this dance, this cosmic dance of creation. And it's time to yield to that cosmic dance. Release whatever is inside of you, keeping you low vibrational and keeping you tethered to these lower densities, keeping you sick, really, because mucus in the body, too much mucus makes you sick. And actually phlegm, I believe, is related to fire in traditional Chinese medicine. I'm hearing pitta. But actually I think that that's kapha in Ayurvedic medicine. But either way, maybe that's something that folks need to get into, is really figuring out like what kind of diet works best for your body, because actually adhering to that diet is going to bring you more wealth, because your body's going to feel better, you're going to feel better, your frequency, your vibration is going to be better. And that's not the same for everyone. I know everybody is always like, oh, everyone needs to be vegan. Everybody needs to be this. Everybody needs to be alkaline. Everybody needs this diet. No, you don't know what everybody needs. Most of the time, we don't even know what we need. The best thing that we can do is just focus on ourselves and healing ourselves and doing the best that we can for ourselves, because that gives others the agency and the permission to do that for themselves. We try to tell everybody what to do. Y'all can listen to what I, you know, like, I don't know. y'all can listen to what I say but I don't do this for everybody else. I put this information out because yes, I feel like I must. My vaster self, my higher self requires me to do it. But ultimately, I put all of this out. I do these channelings. I do all of this because I need to hear it. I need this. Because when I don't do this every week, my week goes so much worse because I don't know what's going on. And I don't understand what's happening in the energy. Like, something can be happening in the energy and I'm just like, oh, why am I so sad? Why am I so tired? Oh, because the moon is in Cancer. Oh, because Mars is in Cancer. Oh, I'm feeling so angry. Why? Why is this stuff coming up after so long? And then I see why. Because of all of this. And that serves me. So whether or not anybody is interested, I'm gonna do it because like it serves me. And then it also gives people the permission to do what they feel like they need to do. So as for being vegan, as for being alkaline, as for being keto, I don't recommend any of that shit. I recommend figure out what your body needs. For example, I'm diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. I also am diagnosed with CPTSD. The overlap of that can manifest itself as like having a lot of symptoms of autism spectrum disorder because both of those things they all have very similar symptoms. One of the things that predicates all of this and the difference with like ADHD, ASD, sensory processing disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and not as much generalized anxiety disorder, but like with CPTSD and generalized anxiety disorder, those things generally, I would say, like especially with CPTSD, it's because something happened in your life. Whereas autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, sensory processing disorder, those are things that like a trauma could have happened to change your neurochemistry, but also you can be born with that. What underlies all of that is being a highly sensitive person. Our nervous systems are more sensitive than the average nervous system. I talk about this in my outliers video. Our nervous systems are more sensitive. So a lot of what is called a comorbidity, that means that these things happen together often. A lot of people who have ADHD also have substance use disorder, which is to say a lot of people who are highly sensitive people with CPTSD, ASD, ADHD, SPD, all of these things, generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, all of these people tend to have a much higher risk of abusing substances, of abusing alcohol. And that makes sense because it is a way to control their neurochemistry. It is a way to turn down the amplification and lower the intensity. So it is a form of self-medication. I'm not encouraging it, obviously. I'm in recovery. So there's a reason why I'm not encouraging it. But I will say this much. One thing that I've learned in recovery is this. Because of this, my body naturally does not produce as much dopamine as the neurotypical body. But great news. I cannot do amphetamines, and a lot of ADHD meds have amphetamines in them. It just blows my heart out of like, I can't do them. Even half of like the lowest dose is too much for me. And also I'm in recovery. But the great news is that there are plenty of natural ways to increase my dopamine levels. And some of them are really fun, like chocolate. I have been doing research on how to increase my dopamine levels in a natural way, and also my magnesium levels, because magnesium is a necessary part of all bodily functioning and all bodily processing, and it also helps with producing dopamine. This also applies to serotonin. I haven't gotten that deep in that side of that research, but I've been focusing on that. I also have a lot of trauma stored in my gut.
So sorry if this is like TMI for some people, but like I have IBS. I actually think a lot of people have it, and I would say most people will experience it. It's not something that you have, it's not a life sentence. You don't always have to experience it. But if you have CPTSD, it's likely that you have long-term IBS and you have to do something to heal your gut. And that those gut health issues can cause can cause a lack of focus, so that you do start to exhibit symptoms of having ADHD. Our bodies are very sophisticated machines, okay? But we in these societies do not have sophisticated approaches to dealing with them. And this isn't knocking modern medicine, because it's really helpful, and it really does help a lot of people. 222 on the clock, 1422 on the clock. But it is to say that, you know, I have all these things going on. I could sit here and wallow in self-pity and also shame, but I didn't choose for any of this to happen to me. All I can choose is what I do with the cards that I've been dealt. For me, that means staying sober one day at a time by the grace of my higher power. Because as sensitive as I am, I literally cannot process, I cannot metabolize alcohol. I've never been able to, and it only got worse over time. I've never been able to. I start sweating profusely immediately. Okay, so it's worth considering, like, hey, I can't drink. Maybe I don't need to get in control of it. Maybe I'm allergic to it, because it's literally poisoning me. You know what I mean? Somebody online on Twitter was like, they're in the spiritual community, and they were saying, I guess, that they are like trying to get sober because they are addicted to narcotics, and they were asking like about marijuana because it is medicinal, it is a healing herb, you know? And I responded, like, just because it works for everyone else doesn't mean it works for you. Like, it doesn't work with your body, it doesn't work with your body, and that's okay. It's neither good nor evil, it just is. And if it's not good for you, then it's going to harm you and hurt you. And so, for me, I also have to address the IBS stuff. So I eat a low FODMAP diet. For me, I also have to address the sensory processing stuff. So I've added more things. I've formulated a diet that, you know, I have to spend time doing the research. But I have been doing it, and there are things that, like, I can't really eat anymore, or if I eat it, I eat it knowing that it's going to cause me a lot of discomfort. And this is the thing, is like, if I'm uncomfortable for long enough, I start to attract more uncomfortable situations, especially if I'm acting out from that discomfort. So that's masculine, okay? The expression, the yang. If I act out from my discomfort, then I start a chain of events that end in me having to mitigate my discomfort. So, you know, I got a cookie the other day that had egg in it. I can't eat egg. I can't eat egg. I can't eat dairy. I got a cookie. I didn't know it had egg in it. I just assumed. Usually I check the ingredients, but I didn't this time. And what happened is that, like, I decided I'm going to eat it and I'm going to see what happens. And hello. Of course, what happened is I became very phlegmatic to an uncomfortable degree. And it just proves that I can't eat eggs still. You know what I mean? And for as long as I was experiencing the symptoms of the consequences of eating that cookie that had egg in it, I was uncomfortable. And I was not living my best life. Excuse me. Solar plexus. So yeah, that speaks to, like, our spiritual power, that speaks to our vibration. When we are out of alignment, we are lowering our power and our vibration. So yeah, that is essentially what Spirit was saying. And that is like the point that I was making. Excuse me. Whew. That is the point that I was making, which is I've been vegan. I was vegan for years. I was vegetarian for years. And now I just do what works best for my body. That's healing my body. That's healing the collective body. And ultimately that heals the universe and the earth. So that's really like, you know, stop looking for external validation. Stop looking for somebody to tell you exactly what your lifestyle is supposed to be. Do things that are in service of you. And that's how you're going to come into alignment, okay? This is a card of the sacred masculine. Like the feminine, the sacred masculine exists within each one of us. And together we're all being called to balance both energies within us, the sun and the moon, solar and lunar. Perhaps this is what it means to birth a new world. The sacred, mature masculine is something so needed in our world. It's the part of us that lives in deep honor and reverence of the feminine. It recognizes the goddess within all of life, including the earth, and is committed to protecting and living in devotion to the feminine. And I do also want to say that, like, it's important to also, with the feminine, you know, taking care of the masculine. And taking care of ourselves takes care of the masculine. The sacred masculine knows that striving and overpowering, enduring and conquering are not helpful. Exactly. I've been talking about this for years. It's about cultivation. Masculine energy, Aryan energy, is about cultivation. It's not about conquering. It's not about acquisition. It's about helping to create a safe space for the feminine to create and to birth. It's about protecting that space. It's about holding a safe container for that. Because masculine energy is about structure and the integrity aspect of creation. The bones are misaligned is what I'm hearing. And it's because of the feminine being misaligned. But that's been done away with and taken care of. So we're getting actually to a place of healing that we've never experienced before. This could be a sign that you're being called to work on the sacred masculine energy within you that's maturing and rising. It could be that you're being called to work on ancestral healing of the paternal line. And I do feel like that's the next step, is breaking the chains of the paternal line. That's the next phase. It could be that you're being called to work. Okay, it could be an indication that you're being called to invoke or acknowledge the sacred masculine in those around you. Or it could represent the sacred masculine appearing in your life. So honestly, I feel like this is like about having boundaries. You know, like, I know we want to give, but think about it as like a water slide, okay? Like, the water is coming down the slide. The slide aspect controls the direction of the water. Otherwise, what's going to happen is the water's just going to shoot out everywhere. And there's no fun in that. You know, like, if we have the structure, the masculine, the structure of the water slide, it's going somewhere and we can enjoy that ride. Or think about it as a lazy river. If the water's polluted, who wants that anyway? You can't even go in that. So we clean the water, we heal the water. And then it's like, okay, so the water's healed, but like now it's just going everywhere. What do we do from here? This is cool and all, but like it's just too powerful. You build an irrigation system, aqueducts, that sort of thing, and control the flow. And now it is of service. It is helping to create civilization. We're talking about some Nile River type stuff, okay? You know, the Ganges River, the Yangtze River. Not for nothing, I do want to just, I'm not even going to go into that. But think about it, like every one of the great 5 civilizations that they talk about in public American schools, because, you know, but all of those 5 Mesopotamia, I think Sumeria was on the Tigris and the Euphrates, and then we have Yangtze River with China, and then we have the Tigris with India, or no, the Ganges or the Tigris, India, and the Nile River in Africa. We have those, they're all built on the river, the life giver. The river gives life. And it feeds into the ocean, the cosmos. Okay? So by doing the subconscious healing and removing the pollutants from the water, it's like having a filter, osmosis filter. We've changed out the filter in the mental space because the mind is the filter through which the ethers come through. We filter it out so that life is flowing along our axis of power, removing the pollutants, creating structure, and now abundance can thrive. Creativity, life can expand from this space. So it's really about having boundaries, like who's getting access to your energy, you know, people, places, and things. Where are we going? Because going is also an expressional thing, you know, going outward. The things that we do, the places that we go, the people that we connect with, all of this. Oh my God. It's the cinnamon. I did too much. I knew I was doing too much. But cinnamon also, it is cleansing, but it also brings wealth. So there you go. But there's the lesson. Don't do too much too fast. Take it slow this week. Let it come naturally. You know, don't push yourself past your limits. Sacred masculine exists within all of us. They are encircling you so that you can do your sacred work. Exactly. So that you can be part of the return of the goddess on this earth. So if you feel like you're not supposed to be in connection with people, places, things, don't be. The rose is their emblem and they wear it proudly on their hearts. This is divine integration here. So we're gonna get into the practical advice because I feel like we got all the information that we need. So practical advice for social matters. And I am hearing something coming up about career. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we doing money matters? Are we doing career? Like, are we doing social? Always do social first. The Fool. New opportunities are coming in. Two of Wands in reverse, Prince of Swords in reverse, Queen of Wands in reverse, Queen of Cups. Okay. The Fool, Two of Wands in reverse. That karmic cycle that we were on is over. We're leaving that matrix behind. Okay? In the 3D, it just needs to play out a little bit more to come to an end, but stop investing in that cycle. Don't invest any thought, don't invest any, because that old way of thinking that had you caught up in those relationships, because the career stuff, you know, you got to think about it this way, our work lives are also social. Don't invest anything more into those spaces. No more of your, show up for your duties and your responsibilities, yes, but as far as manifestation goes, that shit doesn't matter anymore, because guess what? We get the Queen of Wands and we get the Queen of Cups. We're in our power now. We're in our manifestation power now. Fire and water. That's energy. And it is the divine masculine and feminine coming together in a higher level of divine femininity. Where am I sending my energy to? Well, if you've already decided that you're not going to continue living the same life that you were living, you know, you're not going to do it, and you're empowered. And people don't want you to be in that power, because you can see that she's very dark. She's very dark because this is a very scorpionic energy. This is The Scorpio used to be ruled by Mars, which is a fire planet. Scorpio is like the fire water. 5 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, no more struggling with money. These new opportunities that you're coming into, like, you're really stepping into this new life. You're really stepping into this new life with 2 of Pentacles. Knight of Cups in the reverse. I'm not saying go out and like make any brash decisions, because you don't need to go out. Everything is being attracted to you. All you got to do is say yes. All you got to do is say yes. Don't deny what you feel. Baby, express, or let me caress you, baby. I don't know. I don't know the words. Okay, I'm not taking these right now. Let me get through these. 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. Exactly. This is the end of all of that suffering. It's coming in. If you are scared of how you're going to make it to your next paycheck, if you're scared of how you're going to make it, like, and if you feel like, because, okay, so this is like, if you feel like you've been settling in any part of your life, this is coming to an end. You're coming into union with this new world, this new life in the material realm. Yes, yes, believe it. Believe it, it is happening. Okay? Queen of Wands and 8 of Wands. Queen of Wands and 8 of Wands. The energy is transforming, and you are now in your sovereignty. You are now in your power because you're willing to make the decisions that you weren't willing to make before. You passed the test. So now everything is changed. You're no longer the knave. And now you get to experience life as it was meant to be experienced. We get... It's so hard for me to remember what this one is. It's 10, 9, 19. I think it's the World, but it's in reverse. So... let me just make sure that it's the World in reverse. Don't deny what you feel when you caress you. I'm about to let you know you made me so. 19. It's the sun in reverse. So this week, keep it quiet, keep it on the low, keep it on a need-to-know basis. Honestly, because you're already feeling tired. That is the card that precedes judgment. Okay? It comes after the moon. As I said, this is like masculine healing, and we have the Mars in Cancer. Enlightenment, the blazing light. The sun is the sun across all of these. But it's also called enlightenment and fire. So more is being revealed. Judgment is happening. Just keep showing up in every situation as the self that you're meant to. Keep reserving all of your energy for you, your best energy for your stuff, your creations. Now's not the time to go out and be doing. Now is the time to be resting, because when the time comes for you to go out and be doing, you're gonna want to have been well rested. And this is the way that the information is going to come through. You have to slow down and avail yourself. I heard reveal yourself. 14:41 on the clock. Reveal yourself. So that's 5 and 5. The removal of these blockages. So keep showing up. Keep showing up as your sovereign self. In order to continue putting that code out there, so that's what you get back. Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, don't move from emotion. You already know who you are. You already know what it is, and you already know 5 of Wands in reverse. You already know what it is. You don't want to get yourself bungled in more karmic situations and waste more time and waste more energy. people are trying to get you caught up, people are trying to put some bullshit on your plate, say no. Don't accept that and leave. Okay, if you want to have the best, I'll talk about pancakes, okay? You want the best pancakes. You love pancakes. It's your favorite thing. Stop going to Waffle House. Stop going to Denny's and go to 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧. That is the best. Those are the best pancakes I've ever had. Ever. Okay? Go. It is a specialty pancake place. They specialize in pancakes. Yeah. Go to 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧. It's not a fancy place. It's not super expensive. But you deserve better. It's your favorite thing. Okay? But also start making, you're making the best pancakes. You make the best pancakes. Figure out how to monetize making your love for pancakes. Pancakes are your passion. People may have said that was stupid, but listen, you built an empire you built a dynasty on pancakes. You got pancake cookbooks. You got a pancake cooking show. You go all around the world rating pancakes. You have a 500 million followers on your pancake Instagram. Brand deals. Living in the house of your dreams. Living the life of your dreams. All on pancakes. It can happen, and it will. You just gotta act like it will, and it is. Take every little win. Take every little win. And let that be a feather in your hat. Let it bolster you. 1444, so 444 on the clock. We have Temperance, and we have Knight of Wands. Go ahead with your dreams, but take time. Don't be making brash decisions. Okay, temper that Knight energy with wisdom. That's what it is. That's what we're doing. Sophia is wisdom, and Christ is compassion. Love, integrity. Okay, these things coming together. Love for yourself and integrity. So don't self-sabotage. Don't be all in your feelings and create negative karma by acting out on vengeance. Operate from a space of love, but also a space of transcendence and wisdom and maturity, emotional maturation. Like I said, I had to address some pain points in my relationships with a couple different friends this week. And I prayed. I could not avoid it. My inner child demanded it of me. We're going to start wrapping up here. We get Death in reverse. It's the internal changes, or don't worry about the external. The external is taking care of itself, but it's the internal changes. One of Pentacles, exactly. We're already on this new journey, so act like it. You know, this relationship coach I follow on TikTok says it's not about the relationship, it's about the woman you become in the journey to the relationship. Exactly. And then get the Six of Cups. Healing, matrix healing. Sacral chakra healing. You can trust. So with the subconscious, with the traumas, with the all of those things, it's time to do what you have to do to rectify any distrust between you and your inner child. I had to address these issues with people who we had pain points that I hadn't brought up because that's my trauma response, is to be conflict avoidant and to be quote unquote nice. And I had that Kali energy, I had that Sekhmet energy, that Jasperian energy come in and be like, you're stopping us from getting what we want. You're stopping us from experiencing justice, because one of my big fears is that there's not going to be any justice. Well, there's justice with Dark Moon Lilith at 21 degrees and 26 seconds in the 6th house of Cancer, and Mars at 10 degrees and 2 seconds in the 6th house of Cancer. Justice comes in, and we have Moon in Leo at 16 degrees and 12 seconds in the 7th house. Justice comes in when I step into my power and I stop being afraid and I stop letting my fear rule me. I still speak up even though I'm afraid, because I understand that whatever happens on the other side of doing what is necessary is exactly what I want and exactly what I need. And eventually I won't even care about anything that I lose. I won't even think about anything that I lose, because I was meant to lose it. Because it's meant to be making space for what is meant to be. And guess what? I had to have these hard conversations, and these people were very kind, very receptive, very loving, very caring, in ways that I really was not expecting. I was ready for them to come at me and gaslight me and disrespect me, and they did not. So change is possible. Miracles, those are the miracles. Miracles happen when we allow them to, when we create the space for them to. But as long as we're trying to hold on and trying to control everything, which we cannot do because we are not God, we are not we're not God. Let me just put it that way. We're not God. 10 of Swords in reverse. The proof is in the pudding. You got to just do it and build that reference that you can go back to. When you're writing a book, you don't just sit down and boom, there's the book. You got to write it page by page. And the story develops over time. That's actually a photography reference there too. But the story develops over time. Queen of Cups in reverse. So put your pride on the line, put your ego on the line, which is to say put your fears on the line. And open yourself up to miracles occurring in your life, because that's the only way that it's going to happen. It's going to turn out better than you ever thought it could have. So that is the bulk of the advice. I feel like that really speaks to kind of everything. I do want to speak to, I can do about 10 more minutes. I do want to speak to money matters in the 3D. Money matters in the 3D. I think I caught a glimpse of the devil, so I just want to say, I just want to say, once again, do not invest in your ego. Invest in the healing of your ego. Do not invest in your fear. Okay? Because as you invest in those things, you take away from your joy, your peace, your prosperity. Invest in your peace, your prosperity, energetically and financially. Justice in reverse. I don't think that this is going to be the week where everything is ready, because I think that everything is happening in the 3D, because there's still stuff happening in the ethers. There's still stuff playing out in the ethers, and this karmic cycle is playing out. But don't worry, because the new stuff has already started to manifest in the 3D. People are talking. People are talking. Knight of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands in reverse, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords. So it's a lot of Pentacles here. A lot of Pentacles here. Yeah, remove the ego. Be a worker amongst workers. You don't have to, if you're not happy in your job or in your position and you feel like you deserve more, everybody that I'm reading for feels like they deserve more in terms of, even if they, and I get the King of Wands here, even if they like their job, they're feeling unfulfilled and you don't know why. You started to resent your job. You have started to resent your job because it's time, you're growing. It doesn't mean that you're going to quit your job, but it does mean that like you need a promotion and you need to start laying the groundwork for that. Don't ask for it just yet, but think about, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel unfulfilled, it's time for you to sit in your power, in your divine feminine power, and think about what you want. Think about what you want. Think about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do to get it. Create those structures. At least just meditate on it. I saw the Empress, excuse me. I think I saw the Six of Cups, but anyway, Six of Wands in reverse. Those old narratives can't affect you anymore. Create from a space of like, I'm that bitch. Okay? Eight of Pentacles, and this is going to change. Things are changing rapidly in the 3D anyway, and you just have to be the one who is programming your matrix with the ideas of who you are and what you deserve. If it's smaller than what you deserve, like I said, invest your energy into what you want to manifest, not what you don't. Invest your money into what you want to manifest, not what you don't. And know that if you feel like something is coming, if you feel like something is happening, it is. It's manifesting, and it takes time. Ask for what you want. Ask and ye shall receive. But you needed to get fed up so that you could really be in your integrity. Nine of Swords in reverse. Don't let your ego run the show. Don't blow everything up because you're feeling scared or uncomfortable. Because it's only going to end up causing you a lot more trouble. That's what I said already. 7th house, we have the moon in Leo. Yeah, just really stand in your power, and it's making an opposition to Saturn in the 1st house in Aquarius. Like, stand in your power, and that's going to change everything. As far as spending money is concerned, Venus is in Gemini in the 5th house, so I feel like really you just want to be really getting clear on what like your ideas, like you want to be in a space of receiving the codes for your ideas, or receiving the codes for building. Okay, because the codes are, it's DNA, right? And you are encoding your matrix, as I said. So right now, you're receiving the codes. Don't go out of your way to do too much. Like, just simplify. Keep it low key. Like I said, keep it low key. Don't talk to anybody that you don't need to talk to. Keep your mouth shut, because you don't need too many high priestess here. You don't need nobody coming in 2 of Cups, 5 of Cups. Yeah, you don't need anybody coming in and soiling the pot or spoiling the pot. Too many cooks in the kitchen is never a good thing. Spoils the soup, I think is the saying. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Keep it on a need-to-know basis. Right now, it's between you and your higher power. Otherwise, you know, as people are presented to you, and you are energetically going to know who you're supposed to communicate with. But otherwise, keep it low-key. You don't need to be spending on anything you don't need to be spending on. But don't deny your needs. Don't deny your needs. And yes, once in a while you can treat yourself, but not every time you leave the house. Okay, Ace of Wands. It's a new energy coming in. Trust that. 8 of Cups in the reverse. The moon in reverse. 5 of Wands in reverse.